Hello beautiful people, my fellow Validants. Welcome to another How to Draw video. Today we will be drawing Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. This movie came out earlier this year. No, or was it last year? No, it was December 21st, 2022. So it feels like it was this year because it was so close to the end of the year. But yeah, so I actually had to watch this movie about 3 times before I actually found myself enjoying it. It was kind of weird, right? So I initially saw it with family, and I don't really like watching movies with my family, to be honest. It's ever since I was younger, I just never really cared for it. Like, I would rather watch a movie with friends than with my family. But I've watched a lot of movies with them. It's just, I don't know. I I guess it's like the commentary they make sometimes. I don't know exact. I can't quite put my finger on it. I mean, even now, I would rather watch a movie by myself than go to the theater with people in general, not just my family, just in general. I mean, the movie theater's expensive anyways, and you know what it is? I really like to make my own opinion on what I'm watching, and it's hard to do that when I'm with other people. So that's probably what it is. But anyway, so I didn't really enjoy this on the first watch, and there were a number of reasons that I can point out as to why I didn't actually like this movie upon the first watch. So the first watch, I noticed, it was starting off really fun and upbeat, and we had like the Puss in Boots, his little like theme song and everything. It was actually pretty catchy. And then it got to like the first fight sequence, and this is where the movie threw me off visually speaking. I did not like the odd, like low, stilted quality of the action scenes. I get that they were probably trying to go for a more like comic book slash storybook feel, but it felt very awkward and misplaced with the rest of the animation in the movie. Like it felt like it shouldn't be doing that because it just looks so off. It looks like we don't have high quality in those scenes. It looks very messy and, like I said, halted in its progression of the images, whereas the rest of the film isn't like that. And I just had a really big issue with that discrepancy, honestly. I really, really did not like that art direction that they took. I wish they would have just animated the fight scenes in the rest of the same style like they did for the rest of the movie, but they didn't, and it just looked really weird to me. And it's odd because a lot of people were actually praising that. They were praising the action segments for having that visual quality to them, whereas I heavily disliked that. Like I almost like couldn't even watch after a couple of action scenes. It just felt jarring to my eyes, and I almost was feeling a little bit like motion sick. It was very strange, and I'm sure I'm probably in the minority for this, which is fine. But I really did not like that. And that kind of like set the tone for the rest of the movie for me while I was watching, and I just did not appreciate a lot what was going on because I was dreading the next action sequence because it just looked so wrong the way that they had animated it to me. And I'm exaggerating. It's probably not that bad to most of you, but like I said, it's just my opinion. I guess it's because I was expecting a uniformity throughout, and that's not given, especially with those action sequences. But other than that, that was my big like complaint. Other than that, I also found it hard to concentrate in some scenes just because we were moving very quickly through scenes, and there were some moments where I felt like we could have stayed in just a little bit longer. But it is a good movie overall, and I've determined that after watching it 3 times. So first time I didn't like it. Second time I tried watching it and I couldn't get through it a second time. Third time I actually watched it not with my full attention. I was very distracted while I was watching it. But I still managed to get through the movie. Like I was like doing chores and like other stuff. And that is what enabled me to actually like appreciate the film because I was mostly hearing it, and the character development and the way the characters are portrayed is done very well. The acting is on point. I mean, I love Antonio Banderas. He's amazing. I love Perito. He's cute. He's funny. He's essentially Donkey. And I think that's another reason why this movie got high praise. Like, they kind of Shrekified Puss in Boots' story a bit by giving him his faithful sidekick in the form of a dog instead of a donkey. And then you have the love interest, of course, who's also a badass, and I really liked her character. But yeah, all the characters are very interesting. Of course, the wolf is what got everyone like all hot and bothered, right? And I thought it was just funny because yes, the wolf is has great character design and everything, and the acting is also very good from the wolf. We have, I think this is a little like mono character type thing. That's fine like that. And we want to do the sword here. So it was on my, it took me 3 watches with the remaining two, not, well, even the first movie, the first time I watched it, I didn't watch like the last 10-15 minutes. I had left the room. I was already sort of done with the movie at that point. But it's not a bad film by any means. It's just very jarring to me. The visuals, I did not like the visuals and the action scenes. I wish we could stay in some of the character development scenes a little bit longer. The jokes were on point though. I laughed a lot actually. I enjoyed the storytelling. It felt very well put together overall. Like narrative wise, character wise, all that was great. The villain was good. The villain is just straight up a bad guy. Like, there's no room for improvement there. And, yeah, I appreciated the relationships were shown and how Puss in Boots goes on a journey of self discovery, I suppose you could say. This dog looks terrible. The dog looks terrible. Yeah, I'm a Doge. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's funny. And they definitely set it up where we're gonna get like Shrek 5 in the future, at the end. Yeah, so spoilers. In case you didn't want spoilers, there's definitely spoilers in this movie. Not a whole lot. I don't have much to say on this movie other than I'd probably give it a B. If we're going on an A, B, C, D, E, F scale, I'd give it a B. Yeah, I think a lot of people fell in love with the new characters more than anything, and that's why it was also highly rated. Like the wolf is very, very popular. There's already a ton of fan art of him and Puss in Boots and stuff. And there's just there's a good story behind it in the end too. Oh, let's draw Kitty right here. Draw Kitty. She is smiling. She has her own little sword. Ooh, just like that. Yay! Kitty. Okay, that looks good. And then on the other side over here, we have Goldilocks and the Three Bears. But yeah, so the story is essentially like being grateful for what you have, being appreciative of the life you are given or the chance at life you were given. So you can always do things to try to improve that life, right? This is a bear, bear, rar. There's a Bear. Goldilocks is riding the bear. Yeah, that works. And there's another bear. And here's the third bear in the background. It's a nose. There we go. Now we just need, we need the wolf. This is Death. Death is represented as a wolf in this movie. But yeah, the music's good. The story's actually fairly decent. Um, it's not a bad movie by any means. It's much better than most of the stuff we've been receiving from Hollywood lately. In general, a lot of the studios with all the reboots and remakes and blah 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 and all that. So it's better. It's definitely an improvement over what's been going on. And then yeah, let's just do the title real quick, everyone. Would I watch this movie again for a fourth time? No, I'm pretty burnt out from trying to watch it. And the whole reason I was forcing myself to watch it is because people online would not stop talking about this movie. Like, there was just so much high praise for it. And then, even when I went to go visit a close friend, she was praising it. And I was just like, oh, I watched it. I didn't really think it was that great. And she's like, what? And I was like, maybe I need to rewatch it. And she's like, yeah, you do. So I did. I did. I rewatched it two more times before I finally said, yeah, it's a good enough movie. I don't know what it was besides like the action scenes that I really didn't like how they were rendered. There's something I felt like an emptiness walking away from this movie every time I watched it, and I don't know why. It sort of felt familiar and at the same time like a rehash. And after dissecting it some more, it kind of is a bit of a rehash. Like I said, it's kind of like it's basically they Shrekified Puss in Boots. Like they gave him different stakes, but they gave Puss in Boots a sidekick that's happy-go-lucky and accompanies him on a dangerous journey, you know. And both Puss in Boots in this movie and in the first Shrek movie, their motives are fairly selfish. They're just trying to do what they gotta do so they can get what they want. Shrek wants to keep his swamp. Puss in Boots wants to, get more lives or at least a life back, so he doesn't have to worry about it, about squandering his last life because he has 9 lives, or he did, and he used 8 of them already. And that's what the premise of the movie is him trying to find the last wish so he can wish himself more lives back. And he can continue his life of debauchery and screwing around, just, crime, a life of crime and everything. And, yeah, so there's definitely a lot of parallels. So I think so in a way, DreamWorks did kind of cheat the formula a bit. It's like the same thing with, what was it? The first Star Wars movie after the original ones, the original 6, what was it? Episode 7. Star Wars Episode 7. I was like, wow, that was a shockingly okay Star Wars movie when I first saw it. And then when I really thought about it, I was like, wait, this is basically Star Wars A New Hope, but everyone's older. And it's the same thing though. They have to blow up the station or whatever the satellite or whatever that thing is. It's basically the same thing where they have to blow that up to save everyone. You know? Like they blow up the Death Star, right? It's basically Death Star 2.0, I think. And they literally blow it up in the seventh movie, and it follows a oddly similar trajectory to the first one. You got Luke Skywalker becoming a Jedi, you got Rey becoming a Jedi in Episode 7, or I guess if not a straight up Jedi, neither of them become Jedis right away, I don't think. But they do learn to wield a lightsaber, and their lives are uprooted from their humble desert origins, right? So Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I felt still like this movie was a bit creatively stunted, even though I can't quite iterate why I feel that way, other than it does feel like a reskin of the first Shrek movie. And it makes me, I suppose, a bit disappointed. Not with this movie in particular. This movie is part of a larger conversation of the lack of creativity that we see in the big industries now. And if you really want something unique and interesting, you have to go find like an indie um, studio or an indie developer if you want a unique video game, or an indie author if you want a unique story. Stuff like that. And it's just like, I appreciate that we have these indie markets available. What I don't appreciate is that the bigger markets make it pretty much impossible for new ideas to flourish. They make it impossible for an indie artist who gets really popular almost to enter into those ranks, because it is so exclusive and it is so full of nepotism, and it's all about the who you know industry and everything. And I'm just tired of it, I guess. I probably sound tired. I feel tired. Maybe it's just because this logo is taking so long. Puss in Boots. Almost there. For breakfast, I actually had some oatmeal this morning, and luckily there were no bugs in it. I've been finding a lot of bugs in my oatmeal lately. Reminds me of there's so many bugs everywhere, so much lately, just so many bugs, and it just reminds me of the plagues, of Egypt. The swarm of locusts is one of the plagues. And it does feel like I've been seeing not locusts, but like a lot of bugs, like just everywhere. And but the bug problem's been pretty bad for a couple of years where I'm at, but it definitely feels like it's getting more concentrated. There's more roaches everywhere, there's more flies, there's more mosquitoes, there's more spiders, more fleas, ticks, gnats, all that stuff. It's pretty gross. I mean, I don't know if climate change has something to do with it, because everything's getting warmer. These bugs feel like they can thrive better. Maybe it's possible. Or maybe it's just I'm noticing it more, and that's why it seems to be more apparent, more frequent that I have these run-ins with these insects and arachnids and what have you. I am grateful we don't have scorpions out here, because screw scorpions. Life is already dangerous enough. I don't want to have to worry about shaking my sheets out, finding a damn baby scorpion just fall out of it. Disgusting. I actually knew some people who lived where it was like very, very big desert area. A lot of scorpions in that area. And they had been warned by like other people, like, oh, you shouldn't live there, there's a lot of scorpions. And they had a newborn at the time, a newborn baby. And within a month, the mom had found um, two, two, two baby scorpions that were crawling up the bed, like the crib for the child. They would crawl up the wooden legs of the crib, like trying to get to the baby, and it seemed almost purposeful. And it did sound like she was becoming paranoid about it, and they actually ended up moving. Because it wasn't just that. She found, it was twice that she found two scorpions trying to get at the baby, like climbing up the crib from the floor. And she had found, like other scorpions like on the outside of the house, but for some reason there was like either like a hole that needed to be patched in the child's bedroom or something because obviously those scorpions were finding a way to get in, right? Two times she had to yank her baby from the crib and then put the baby down somewhere else and then try to kill the scorpions and making sure she got all of them. But yeah, they moved out really quick. That is like a huge flipping health hazard for your child. I certainly would have moved too. But then again, I would have never moved to the high desert area to begin with. Like, I would have never moved to an area where it's known to have like a crop ton of scorpions. But, anyways, I digress. Thank you so much for watching. And this is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Like I said, I give it a B rating. I would probably never ever watch this movie again. I'll put it on the I'll put it on that list probably, but it's not a bad movie by any means. It's got a lot of fan art right now. It's highly reviewed, highly rated. It is funny. It's cute, and yeah, a majority of you will probably like it. So thank you so much. Thank you everyone for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.